Hi, my name's Tracy Hay, and I'm here with Mac Seafood and my husband, Mac Hay, owner, chef of Mac Seafood, and we're here to demonstrate how to fillet cod and then bake it, or however they want to cook. There's a number of recipes the kids have chosen, so we'll see what happens.
So we have one non-fish eater. Everybody else eat fish that's here?
No, I don't
You
eat
don't
it.
eat fish? All right. Well, maybe we can change that today. So this is a codfish, right? So when you go out and you get fish and chips, most of the places on the Cape use codfish. This is a local fish. This got landed right in Chatham. So what I'm going to show you today is basically how to break the fish down. And what I want you to realize that there's a lot of steps to this process, and the last couple of steps you guys are going to do yourself, okay? And if anybody's interested in trying to break one down from from a whole fish, we can do that too, but we'll go through the basics first. So what I want to show you is the fish after it was broken down so you can understand the anatomy of it. So the way the fish swims in the water is like this, right? And through the middle here is what we call basically the backbone or the spine. And you can see that is, it's hard, it will break, but that's where the bones are, and that's what holds the actual fish together. So what we want to do is we want to cut the meat off of each side of that center backbone. There's also a couple of neat things. These are the cheeks, called cod cheeks. You might see those sometimes in fish markets. These fish are a little bit small, so the cheek that you get out of it is not very big. But on the larger fish, you get a larger cheek, and this cheek piece is incredibly tender. It's a little bit different than the meat that's in the rest of the fish. So anyway, we'll get right to it. What's pretty neat about using whole fish is that once you actually break the fish down, you can use the carcass to make stock. And you just simmer that in some water. You can add some onion, but you get an amazing fish stock out of the carcass. And the point here, when you get whole fish like this, like any food product, you want to use all of it as efficiently as you can. You don't want to waste any of the product. So, all right. So we're going to start. You know what? I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. So I like to start with the head on the right, and maybe actually it's easier this way. I'm going to start with the head on the left. And there's meat. That meat, you can see, it actually runs all the way up into the head here. So the first thing we want to do is find that center line, that center bone, and I cut in through the back. Now, let me start by saying this. The most important part of this process is a sharp knife. If you don't have a sharp knife, you cannot cut fish well. It'll end up being hacked all over the place. So what I'm doing right now is I'm running my blade. I'm feeling for that bone that you saw before. I'm running my blade along that bone, trying to make a nice clean cut. I'm going over that fin so you can see where I am right now. So I'm gonna carry that cut all the way up, right till I feel the bone of the head. Then I'm going to come back behind the gill here, this little fin, fin, not a gill, and make a cut this way. So now I've kind of freed it up from there. And this right here, this piece is called the collar. And the collar, you could cut this out and look at the meat that's in here. You could roast this up and get meat out of the collar. So anyway, back to here. So then I've got that first cut. Does everybody see that? Yeah. See how it's freed up? Then I'm going to come back, keeping my knife. See how my blade of my knife is angled down? I'm actually like bending the knife to create the right angle of the blade on the bone. And I'm just running that blade right across there. See how that just freed up right there? So now this center spine actually is curved. And I don't want to waste the meat by going over, so I'm actually going to angle my blade back down along that spine. See how I'm getting the meat right off of that? And if I were to go just straight at that point, I'd miss all that meat because on the back side of that spine it curves down. Then I'm going to carry that cut through to the back side as close as I can to the other side of the fish. Now, when we get up in here, this is where it gets really tricky, especially with codfish. This is basically like a rib cage, and you can see it kind of flares out. You can see how it actually goes out like on either side, right? You like that part? No. So there's bones in there. So I basically have to use my knife and almost like hack through that bone. See how I just hacked through that? But you don't want to rip the flesh either. You want to be gentle on it. So then I'm going to go back to over here, start cutting it off of the skin. Now I'm cutting through the skin, and it kind of frees up. Come back and then trim it off. And that's basically a fillet. We're not done. That's like not even half the work. Because what we then need to do next, once we have our fillet, and essentially I can show you it's the same thing on the other side that we just did. But we're going to move right into what to do with the fillet now. So this is what you guys are going to do, so you need to really pay attention to this. And like I said, anybody who wants to try cutting a whole fish, I definitely want you to be able to try that. So the skin, which we need to take off, is it's not incredibly difficult, but it's about technique. One thing that you need to do is have your knife in a position, your cutting board, so that you can stay close to the board. In other words, I can't really get at the skin at this angle, so I'm actually going to turn it like this so I can run my hand here. I make a little cut, and then I'm flattening. See what I just did there? I just opened that up a little bit, and I'm keeping the knife at the right angle. I'm not pointing down, I'm not pointing it up, I'm just kind of feeling, and I'm actually going to pull the fish and the skin back. So see how I'm doing? I'm not even really moving the knife, I'm actually kind of moving and then the skin just comes off like that. So this is something, yeah, I mean I've been doing it for 25, 30 years, but it's all about technique. If you have the right technique, which most of cooking is, it's about having the right technique, obviously the right ingredients, but with that knowledge you can do things the proper way. What's fun about this is, as I was talking before about using every part of the fish, it's important. At our place in Chatham we have a dehydrator, and we've been making dog treats out of the fish skin. Wow. So you just coil it up like this, throw it in the dehydrator, and dogs go absolutely crazy for this. And it's a really great source of protein for the dogs. So now we have this nice piece of fish, but there's a couple of things that we need to check for. One are worms. So, this is the part of culinary class that I'm sure you're starting to learn. Things don't come, when they come in a nice little neat package in the grocery store, there's a lot of work that's gone into that. And a lot of it is what they don't want you to see and what they don't want you to know because you might get grossed out by it. But it's all natural, and the worms are not a bad thing. The worms they won't hurt you if you eat them. They're protein in themselves. But in this, what you can do is you can hold it up to the light, and you'd see these. This doesn't have any, so we're in good shape. But you'd see these little spots, and you just take your knife or you take a little tweezer and you just pick it out, and then it's done. So don't kid yourself, though. I mean, when you're eating out in a restaurant and you've had cod, 90% of the cod that you've eaten has had a worm in it. Same thing with swordfish. Same thing with halibut.
Bottom feeders.
The bottom feeder, yeah, the fish that eat off the bottom. Yeah. This is my wife, Tracy. Right. So now what we also have are the bones. There's a little, you can, when you get your fillets, you'll feel these bones right here. And the only way to cut these out is basically what we call V-cutting. We want to try to keep as much flesh. You could go through and hand pick each one of these with a tweezer, but you kind of end up destroying the fish anyway. So what I do is I kind of find the bone, and I'm running my knife along that bone line. So these bones start here and they go there. Then I'm going to go back, and again I'm trying to save as much flesh as I can. I'm going to cut the bone out there. Right down, and that's pretty much where the bone stops. So when you see it in the market, it looks like this. You know, that's what. And when you are looking for fish, especially codfish or many of the bottom fish, see how this color is almost clear? It's not white or gray. That has a clear texture to it. That's a sign of really nice fresh fish. So that's important too. All right. So I think at this point, you know, this is what you need to end up with. Then from here, you know, you can make your portions.
Yep.
So if you're going to do, you know, a 3 ounce, I mean, we do everything by ounces. So if you're going to do a 3 ounce or a 4 ounce portion, the 4 ounce portion would be about there. And then you could get, you know, 2 4 ounce portions and maybe a 2 ounce portion out of this. So portion size is important because that's kind of the final piece when you go to prepare it. All right.
Okay. Behind Selah are recipes. Pick one. Go to your station. Get your stations ready to go. Then come and get a fillet. They're over here. You get all your other ingredients.
Does anybody want to try to cut a fish?
No one wants to try to cut a whole fish?
No.
Grab a recipe. Go to your stations. The fillets are over here. You got it. They just got to get the skin and the bones, right?
Right. You know, you need a cutting board. And
The shot the recipe
yeah.
that's with the sauce tonight. Alright, so you have both recipes? You need the fish and you need the sauce tonight.
We're gonna take all the scraps with us, of course.
Unless she wants it.
Norma Jean, do you want the scraps for for
I was
broth?
thinking we could make some stock.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be nice. A big bunch of stock and then I can just put it in the freezer.
Yes.
When we make a
Yeah.
stew.
Get a size difference. These fish weren't very different. Look how much fatter that one
The
is.
sauce tonight?
Yeah.
I was over here on the table with all the other ones.
My goal is to make the best dish in the class, and my partners are Gavin and Selah. And every class we work really hard and we make some of the tastiest dishes in the class. Let's see, so these are both our recipes, and I haven't even read these yet, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But first step of like all the recipes is you have to read all of it and you have to understand what it's asking you to do, and then you have to have all your ingredients before even starting to do anything. And that is how we do a good job every time.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you want to say anything?
This has been a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's great. Fresh codfish. All right, you ready for the fillet?
All done.
All right, you ready over here? Down, down. Where's your cutting board? Where's your cutting board?
Over here.
Where's your cutting board? Why don't you grab that white one right there? I'll put the fish on there. There you go.
Oh, wait, no, this okay.
I need one right over here.
That's so smart.
Thank you. Just raise it up here. Maybe you need some more cleaning.
I'll take a look. Keep that same motion. Now stop. You're starting to angle up a little. Let's switch maybe a little bit longer knife. Switch to this knife. Okay. Keep pulling. Okay, keep pulling. Watch where your knife's going. See how it's going up? Get down. Right along that skin. Don't worry so much about that piece. Focus on the fat
Hey
part.
guys, we have time issues, so we need to really work smart. Station 2, I see you standing on the computer. Do something.
That's good. That's right. Don't worry about that. You're doing good. Okay, hold on. Let's reset. Let's reset. Okay, because you're sliding. So we want to put this here. Okay, grab that skin. Grab that skin. Reset your knife. Right, now pull the skin. Don't pull the skin. Keep pulling. Keep pulling that skin. Feel it? Perfect. There you go. There you go. That's your fillet right there. See that? Good job. And then you can go back and look at where you missed a little bit. So remember that knife started going up. What I was saying before is when it started going up, it's right there. So what your goal is to get as much meat off the skin without leaving it on the skin. See what I was talking about? So that's what we're. It looks like the rest of it's pretty good. Nice job. So now we need to do that V cut. Okay. Turn the twist towards you. I want you to feel that bone with your finger. See that? What you're going to do is you're just going to cut straight down along that line right there. Perfect. Okay, stop right there. Yep, now just cut that off right there. Perfect. There you go. Now we're going to just double check for any bones. Take a feel. Now we're ready to Alright, good job.
Now reset.
Yeah. Right now, see how the knife, see how you're going up in the air? We don't want to do that. Okay? We want to be nice and tight along this. So here, what I'm going to do is we're going to reset this. Okay? All right. Okay. So now grab that. See how I did that? I went back down. There you go. Pull the skin towards you. Yep. Yep. Now wiggle a little bit. Keep going.
Oh, it's you guys.
All right. All right. We got it. We got it. Wasn't the prettiest, but we got it. Nice. That's okay. Okay. So now we need to take the bones out, right? Right, so then we can save this. So if we're making like a fish chowder, this is kind of a hard cut. What I'm doing is going on the other side of that bone. See that? It's a nice piece of meat right there. You know, we don't necessarily want to just waste that. And then this stuff can go towards our stock. Alright, so now the next thing we need to do is check for worms. Right. And why don't you take that and hold it right up to the light. See anything in there? Not really. Not really. Good. Good.
So
Right.
we need a
That's it. Now you're ready to portion. Good job. Okay, you watched what I did before? Right. Give yourself a little bit more. Okay, so go ahead and make that first cut. Your left hand. Okay, so it's okay, so it's the same thing, left to right, but what you want to do is start by, the first cut is like this. So kind of just getting yourself set. Okay, see that? Now you're going to hold that skin. Okay, come around, get yourself comfortable. If you want to work the opposite way, yeah, that'd probably be easier for you. Okay, so hold the skin really hard. Good. You feel how the skin and it's separating?
Somebody's get going on your sauce.
Perfect. Okay. So now you want to pull. Yeah. Now you're actually going to try to pull. Good job. You're going to pull that skin. There you go. Keep that angle. Start coming up. See, look, you're starting to come up off the skin a little bit. Just keep going. Perfect. Feel it coming out. You can feel it separating, right? Yep. Okay, go ahead. Just don't put your arm on this. Okay, slow down for a second. Okay, take a look. See how you're doing. Flip it right up. Good. So you're still on track. You're starting to come up a little bit there, but not much. That's good. Perfect. Keep going. You got it. There you go. Good grip. Yep. Pull. Little wiggle with the knife. Keep it down. No, don't come up. Don't pull the knife up too high. So you did great, except at the very end. See what you did? You just kind of came up with a knife. But that's good. That's a really, really good job. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so now we need to go back and check for the bones. Run your finger right along there. Feel those? Okay, so we need to cut those out. And the easiest way to do it is grab the knife, turn this towards you, and I want you to make a cut right along that line there. You can see it kind of opens up for you. Cut straight down along that line. Don't cut through the bones. You want it. You want to cut like around the bone. Yeah, all the way down all the way down. Yeah. Should be through. Okay, good. Okay, so let's just feel. Yeah, perfect. So you got all the bones in this side. So now we want to do the same thing. We want to make a cut. I'm going to switch you to this side. Okay, so make that same thing. Make that cut right along that side of the bones.
You need to preheat your oven. 1, 2, and 3. Why do I not hear the vents? Station 2 is the vent. Yeah, you're big.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
That was a nice job.
It does.
Thank you for visiting us in Advanced Culinary. We learned so much about filleting fish today, and we hope that you have learned a lot too.